For decades, humanoid robots have always seemed just out of reach. Every few years, a new prototype would go viral, running, doing backflips, occasionally getting kicked by an engineer for balance testing, and then quietly disappear back into a research lab. They were incredible demonstrations, but they weren't something you could actually buy. That's finally starting to change. But for the first time, several humanoid robots are actually entering the commercial market. Some are designed to lift heavy boxes, others are built to work alongside people, and a few are trying to convince you they're more than just machines. Today, we're counting down 7 of the most fascinating humanoid robots that could already be working alongside you, or even taking care of your children as a nanny. You might already know Droid Up Moya. Millions of people have watched her walk, blink, and smile, and many admitted it felt strangely unsettling. But those viral clips only show the surface. Beneath them is a robot with heated, human temperature skin, eyes that follow your gaze, dozens of tiny facial movements, and a design built around one ambitious goal: making a machine feel less like a machine. Droid Up, also known as Georgide Robotics, is a Shanghai startup founded in 2021. Before Moya, they were building bipedal robots. Their Walker 2 entered the 2025 Beijing World Humanoid Robot Games Half Marathon and finished 3rd, completing the course in 4 hours and 25 minutes without swapping the battery. Moya is built on Walker 3, the direct successor. And at the January 2026 launch event, founder Li Qingdu said something worth reading twice. Most robots on the market today have hard shells and feel cold and mechanical. A robot that truly serves human life should be warm, almost like a living being that people can connect with. So they built one. Moya's skin maintains a surface temperature of 32 to 36 degrees Celsius. That's human body warmth, not a gimmick, a deliberate engineering decision. The face has 25 degrees of freedom for micro-expressions. Cameras behind the eyes track your gaze and adjust the pupils in real time. It walks. The company claims 92% human-like walking accuracy. Height, 165 centimeters. Weight, 32 kilograms. Fully modular design with swappable hair, shells, and male or female configurations. Expected price, around $173,000 at launch in late 2026. Now, the honest part. In the demo footage, you can audibly hear the actuators clicking as Moya walks, which is, to put it gently, not the vibe they're going for. The 92% walking accuracy claim hasn't been independently verified, and one commenter described watching it as a Westworld host that hasn't been fully activated yet, which is either a compliment or a nightmare depending on your relationship with that show. But Moya isn't the only company trying to bring humanoid robots into everyday life. In fact, our next robot takes almost the exact opposite approach. Instead of chasing realism, it's focused on something arguably even harder: building a robot people actually want to live with. Alright, picture this. You walk through your front door after an absolutely brutal day at work. You're exhausted. Now, imagine a humanoid robot stepping up to you. It doesn't just ask if you want water. It actually looks at your face, registers the subtle tension in your forehead, and says, "Hey, you look incredibly stressed. Want to just sit down and talk about it?" That isn't some far-off sci-fi movie. That is exactly what China's biggest robotics giant is trying to put in your living room right now. Now, if you haven't heard of UB Tech, they are not some random startup trying to raise money on Kickstarter. These guys are absolute heavyweights. They've been around since 2 Touchdown, quietly building a massive empire in Shenzhen with over 2,450 patents. We're talking about a company that has had their industrial robots, like the Walker S1, literally clocking into work on real factory floors for giants like BYD, Audi, and Foxconn. They actually just signed a massive, record-breaking $35 million deal to deploy their Walker S2 units in factories. So, yeah, building a functional robot that can move and operate, not a problem for them. The real challenge was, how do you build a robot that people actually want to share their couch with? Because let's be real, nobody wants a cold, metallic Terminator staring at them while they eat snacks. In mid-2026, UB Tech gave us their answer with a brand new consumer line called U-World. And instead of going for the usual plastic and wires look, they went full-on sci-fi. These robots are wrapped in hyper-realistic silicone skin, complete with lifelike hair and detailed makeup. They launched 3 different versions, and the price tags are wild. The U1 Lite semi-torso starts at 119,800 yuan, which is roughly 16,500 US dollars. The U1 Pro full body sits at 169,800 yuan, about 23,500 US dollars. The U1 Ultra, the flagship, costs between 880,000 and 990,000 yuan. Yes, you read that right. That's about 121,500 to 136,500 US dollars. That Ultra model is basically a luxury bionic partner. It's got an insane 88 degrees of freedom, meaning it moves, stands, and walks with an incredibly natural, human-like flow. But what really blew my mind is the brain inside this thing. It runs on their proprietary Resonance LM model, which uses a fast and slow brain architecture. Essentially, it is constantly scanning you. It tracks your tone of voice, your micro expressions, and your speech patterns to identify over 20 different emotional states with over 90% accuracy. It remembers your past conversations, your habits, and your bad days. And if you're sitting there thinking, a robot in my house listening to everything I say sounds like a privacy nightmare, I totally get it. But UB Tech actually thought of that. Your data is encrypted and stored locally right on the hardware. It doesn't get sent to some random server in the cloud. It stays strictly inside the robot. But here's my favorite detail from the launch. If you watch the demos, you'll notice what UB Tech is not showing off. They aren't bragging about the robot folding laundry or washing dishes. Almost every single demo focused on one thing: connection. They showed the robot holding hands, offering comfort, having deep late-night chats, and just existing alongside people. And honestly, that is a brilliant pivot, because teaching a machine to lift a box or sweep a floor is just an engineering and math problem. But making a machine that can actually ease your loneliness, make you laugh, and feel like a natural part of your home, that is the real frontier. My honest verdict: look, the U1 series is only just beginning to ship, so we don't have a ton of independent reviews yet. But when a battle-tested industrial giant decides the world is finally ready for a lifelike emotional companion, it's a massive signal that the future is arriving a lot faster than we think. But hey, maybe you aren't looking for an emotional connection. Maybe you don't need a robot to ask how your day was. Maybe you just want a machine that can move with mind-bending speed and pure physical capability. So this next robot is built to move so fast, it'll make your head spin. Let's meet the undisputed speed demon of the humanoid world. While most companies are trying to make their robots look more human, Astrobot looked at that race and quietly went in the opposite direction. They focused on pure, jaw-dropping speed. The S1's arms can move at up to an insane 10 meters per second. To put that in perspective, when you watch this thing in action, it genuinely looks like someone sped up the video, but they didn't. That is just what 10 meters per second looks like on a robot arm, and it is honestly a little unsettling in the absolute best way possible. Now, making a robot fast is one thing, but making it fast without losing accuracy, that is where most companies hit a wall. S1 does both simultaneously, maintaining millimeter level precision even at top speed. And that exact combo unlocks tasks that slower robots simply can't handle in the real world. Things like rapid food prep, sorting items, folding clothes, or handling fragile objects that would break if a robot was too clumsy. The S1 can switch from delicate to aggressive and rapid without needing to stop and recalibrate. But the coolest part of this machine isn't just the speed, it's how it learns. Instead of engineers writing thousands of lines of code to program every single micro movement, you just show it. A human performs a task, and the S1's AI watches. It figures out what actually mattered in the movement, refines it, and adds it to its skill set. This means you can teach it new tasks in a fraction of the time it takes to program a traditional industrial robot. Backing all of this up is a massive suite of cameras and depth sensors. The S1 isn't just playing back a recorded motion like a puppet, it is constantly mapping its surroundings and actively adjusting mid-task if something shifts. But let's talk about the price tag, because this machine is definitely not a budget home toy. If you want this kind of insane speed and precision, it is going to cost you around $100,000. That massive investment places the S1 firmly in the enterprise grade tier, built for research labs and industrial developers rather than standard home use. My honest verdict: yes, we are still looking at company-controlled demos, and independent real-world testing is still pretty limited. There is always a massive gap between a flawless promotional video and actual daily use. But speed, precision, and rapid imitation learning on a single platform. Very few companies are even attempting that right now. The Astrobot S1 is pointing at a very exciting, hyper-efficient future. While Astrobot is breaking speed records in the lab, our next contender is stepping out of the clean room and straight into the boxing ring. Let's look at the brawler of the humanoid world. Most humanoid robots look like they're permanently terrified of falling over. They shuffle, they wobble, and they walk like they've got stiff wooden knees. Then there's the SE01. This is a full-sized, 170 centimeters, 55 kilogram athletic beast made of aerospace-grade aluminum. It didn't go viral for doing chores. It went viral because it moves with a fluid, natural posture that is so human-like, it actually tricks your brain. It runs, jumps, does squats, pulls off push-ups, and can briskly walk at a rapid 2 meters per second, which is actually faster than the average human pace. But Engine AI didn't build this platform just to go for casual strolls. They built it to fight. To prove just how robust their hardware and balance algorithms are, Engine AI announced plans for Mecha Boxing King, the world's first full-sized humanoid robot boxing tournament. We're talking about 120-pound metal brawlers stepping into a ring to actively throw punches, weave, and take hits. When you're engineering a robot to throw a hook without face planting onto the canvas, your motion control AI has to be next level. But this boxing ring athleticism isn't just for show. That same insane stability and power are exactly what make it highly practical for everyday daily life. Think about it. A robot that can take a punch in a boxing ring is a robot that won't fall over when your dog bumps into it, or when it steps on a stray toy left on the living room floor. Because it uses imitation learning in a high-torque joint system, the SE01 is uniquely built to tackle the chaotic, uneven environments of a real home. It can effortlessly carry heavy groceries up a flight of stairs, lift and relocate heavy boxes, navigate over bumpy driveways, and handle delicate sorting or organizing tasks around the house without knocking everything over. It's essentially the ultimate heavy-duty home assistant. Under the hood, the SE01 features a dual processor architecture combining an NVIDIA GPU and an Intel CPU. It runs on an end-to-end neural network that constantly calculates balance, center of gravity, and joint adjustments on the fly. Its 32 degrees of freedom are powered by custom-developed, high-torque joints designed to take a beating. It sees the world through Engine Sense, a multi-sensor stack featuring a 3D depth camera, a 360-degree LiDAR, and 6 HD cameras that map the environment in real time. And because it is built around an open-source SDK, developers can code everything from high-speed logistics tasks to, yes, literal boxing and chore running strategies. So, what does a full-sized, athletic, combat-ready development platform set you back? Engine AI has priced the SE01 between 150,000 and 200,000 yuan, which translates to roughly 20,500 to 27,500 US dollars. For a full-scale humanoid with this level of dynamic movement and raw processing power, that price is aggressively competitive. My honest verdict: while a lot of companies are focusing on making robots look friendly or wash dishes, Engine AI is pushing the boundaries of raw, dynamic physical capability. Yes, the mecha boxing is a brilliant marketing stunt, but the engineering required to make a robot move that naturally, take a hit, and keep its balance is incredibly real. While the Engine AI SE01 is ready to brawl in a boxing ring, our number 3 spot goes to a robot that represents the absolute peak of sci-fi luxury and billionaire-backed intelligence. Imagine taking the smartest AI on Earth, wrapping it in a sleek, matte black stealth chassis, and sending it to work for BMW. Let's meet the most elite humanoid in the game. Most robots look like prototypes. They have exposed wires, plastic panels, and clunky joints. But when the team at Figure AI designed the Figure 02, they clearly wanted to build a masterpiece. This thing looks like a stealth bomber in human form. What makes the Figure 02 a massive leap forward isn't just its gorgeous, wire-free, matte black aesthetic. It's the fact that it is arguably the most intellectual humanoid ever built. Because Figure partnered directly with OpenAI, this robot doesn't just follow commands. It has onboard vision language action models that allow it to have full, natural, real-time voice-to-voice conversations. It can look at a messy kitchen, describe what it sees, plan how to clean it, and explain its reasoning to you while it's actively putting away the dishes. But it's not just a talking brain. The physical engineering here is next level. Figure 02 features their brand new 4th generation human-like hands. Equipped with 16 degrees of freedom and integrated tactile sensors, these hands can handle everything from heavy industrial tools to delicate paper-thin objects. And unlike robots that only exist in tech demos, Figure 02 has already clocked in for a real job. Figure deployed these units to the BMW Group Spartanburg plant, where they successfully navigated the high-stress assembly line, placing sheet metal parts into chassis with millimeter precision. It sees the world through 6 onboard color cameras, feeding into a powerful, self-contained vision network, giving it 360-degree situational awareness. And to keep this beast running, they custom designed a high-density battery pack integrated right into the torso, giving it a 50% increase in effective runtime compared to their first generation. So, how much does a piece of the ultimate tech future cost? Because Figure 02 is currently positioned as a high-end commercial asset, individual units aren't sitting on store shelves yet. However, the company is operating on a robot-as-a-service model for major factories, with the ultimate goal of mass-producing these units to drop the consumer price tag to around $20,000 in the coming years. For now, the hardware itself is valued in the low 6 figures, making it a prized possession of elite tech labs and automotive giants. My honest verdict, Figure 02 is the closest thing we have to a real-life iRobot companion. By combining the physical dexterity of world-class hardware with the raw, conversational intellect of OpenAI, Figure has bypassed the clunky phase of robotics entirely. But as incredibly smart and sleek as Figure 02 is, there is one legendary company that has been teaching robots how to move, jump, and survive the physical world longer than anyone else. Let's head to number 2, where we meet the undisputed kings of robotic athletics. If you've spent more than 5 minutes on the internet over the last decade, you already know this name, Atlas. Long before the current AI hype train left the station, Boston Dynamics was already breaking the internet. They had Atlas running through muddy forests, vaulting over obstacles, throwing backflips, and getting aggressively shoved with hockey sticks only to stand right back up. They didn't need glossy CGI or promises. They just dropped raw video footage and let the robot do the talking. What makes Atlas the absolute gold standard of robotics isn't just that it's athletic, it's its mind-blowing whole-body coordination. While other humanoids treat their arms and legs like separate systems that just happen to share a torso, Atlas runs everything simultaneously. Every joint continuously recalculates balance in real time. If it lifts a heavy box, its hips, spine, and knees shift in perfect fluid unison, moving exactly like a human athlete. And in early 2026, Boston Dynamics completely changed the game by retiring their famous hydraulic prototype and unveiling the brand new all-electric production Atlas. This thing is a beast. It features 56 degrees of freedom, an insane 50 kilograms instant lifting capacity, and joint rotation capabilities that defy human physics. It can literally spin its hips and head 360 degrees to pick up an object behind it without even turning around. To show off just how far this tech has come, Hyundai, who now owns Boston Dynamics, actually put the new electric Atlas on a live global stage. They integrated Atlas into a halftime show at the FIFA World Cup, where the robot executed live, fluid, football-inspired goal celebrations and handed the match ball to the referee in front of a stadium of screaming fans. But here's the catch. You can't exactly buy one to tidy up your kitchen. Because it is an elite, industrial-grade powerhouse, Boston Dynamics doesn't have a standard retail price tag yet. Industry analysts estimate that early enterprise units cost around $130,000 to $140,000 USD, with the long-term commercial target under $320,000. My honest verdict, Atlas is the benchmark. Every other robot on this list exists because Boston Dynamics proved years ago that humanoid motion was actually possible. Boston Dynamics is building high-end, six-figure athletes strictly for corporate giants. But our number one spot goes to a company that looked at those elite price tags and decided to build a humanoid for the rest of us. If you've spent any time on tech TikTok or YouTube lately, you've probably seen a 4-foot-tall robot getting absolutely bullied. It gets kicked in the chest, shoved off ledges, and battered with hockey sticks, only to instantly recover like nothing happened. That's the Unitree G1, and behind those viral videos of it taking a beating is a chest-high bipedal machine with a glossy, blacked-out visor, a body that folds down like a stroller, and a design built around one highly disruptive goal: proving that a capable humanoid doesn't have to cost as much as a suburban home. Unitree, the Hangzhou robotics pioneer, is a household name if you've ever watched videos of robotic dogs pacing down city streets. They practically built the consumer quadruped market, but when they pivoted to humanoids, they didn't want to make a fragile, six-figure museum piece. They wanted a workhorse. To prove their hardware could survive the real world, they recently did something pretty wild. They flew a G1 to the frozen plains of Xinjiang's Altai region in temperatures dipping to a bone-chilling minus 47 degrees Celsius. Dressed in a customized orange winter puffer jacket and plastic-wrapped legs to keep its joints from freezing, the G1 autonomously logged 130,000 steps through deep, shifting snow. To show off, it even used GPS pathing to carve a giant Winter Olympics broadcast emblem into the ice. Now, the price part. The base model of the G1 is listed on Unitree's store at a staggering $13,500. It sounds like an absolute steal until you read the fine print. It comes with no software development kit, SDK. You cannot program it. It is essentially a pre-programmed walking display model. If you actually want to write code, develop apps, or use its hands for custom tasks, you have to buy the G1 EDU version, which is quote only and quickly climbs into the $44,000 to $74,000 range. Additionally, that advertised 2-hour battery life drops significantly under heavy motor loads or in extreme cold. And while those viral clips show it doing martial arts, the out-of-the-box autonomy isn't folding your laundry just yet. But even with those catches, the G1 is a massive pivot. It is the first real crack in the six-figure wall, putting humanoid hardware into the hands of labs, universities, and developers who previously could only dream of owning one. Just a few years ago, most of these robots felt like science fiction. Today, some are already working in factories, others are heading into homes, and a few you can actually buy. They're still not perfect, but they're getting better fast. Which one would you actually want in your home, and which one would send you running? Let me know in the comments. And if you thought these robots were impressive, wait until you see what humans can do with robots. Click here for top 10 robotics exoskeletons that give humans superpowers. I'll see you there.